Hello, friends and family. It's day 84, cycle 4, day 20. If you're new, I'm Jen. If you've been before, thank you so much for coming back. Welcome, one and all, to my quest to crush aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, DLBCL, stage 4. And we're using the R-EPOCH Immunotherapy chemotherapy cocktail to crush non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Let's get into it. So we're going to start with the quotes. Then we'll talk a bit. Okay, quote number 1. Planning is bringing the future into the present so you can do something about it now. Alan Lakein. Quote number 2. It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Eleanor Roosevelt. Quote number 3. Plans are of little importance, but planning is essential. Winston Churchill. All right, so where is this all coming from? As you may or may not be able to tell, I'm feeling less weighted down by my worry today, and I'm crediting that to some planning I've done for how am I going to approach not feeling well this time, if it happens. So I have an actionable plan, which is very small. Essentially, the best thing that I can do is overhydrate and flush this crap out of my body. Particularly the cytoxin, which I know already, but I'm going to start. I've already started. So the last 2 days, I think. Yep, the last 2 days I've been 100 or greater. And my goal is to get through at least till next Wednesday, maybe Thursday, so another week plus, at least 80 to 100. And I'm going to try actually over the course of the next several days to get to 128 if I can do it. We'll see. Because I think if we just get everything flowing now and I can keep up that level, that's the best thing I can do. Because particularly for the cytoxin, which is where I really start to feel just miserable and horrible, which is next Tuesday right now. I think for cycle 4, my hydration was not as good as I had in the past, and I felt like it stuck around longer. Now, it certainly could have nothing to do with my hydration and all to do with the fact that chemotherapy is cumulative and just the fact that my body doesn't totally recover from the last cycle to get to the next cycle. So totally could be that. But as far as making me feel like I'm accomplishing something and taking control of trying not to feel as miserable, I'm going to make it my mission to hydrate. So the name of the game for the next week plus, if I can make it longer, even better, 10 days, is hydrate. And, once I start to feel miserable, if I can only hydrate to, 80, that's okay. And either Tuesday and or Wednesday, if I have to go in for the shot, I may ask to, get a bag of hydration, 500 or 250 cc's through the IV, just to add to the hydration if I feel that I'm not making it enough on my own. No shame in asking for help. Because the name is hydrate. So I don't have a plan, but I am planning to hydrate, which is really not much different than my plan has been, but I'm going to make sure to effect that plan. So that is where I am. And I do feel much better and a little bit more in control of the debacle that is poisoning. I don't know why, but today is a better day. Maybe because I spent the time planning. How am I feeling? I'm feeling energized with a plan. Whether that plan happens or not is a different discussion, right? But I'm going to try my very, very best. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, as far as angel deliveries today, I had many lovely supportive messages. And I'm calling those angel deliveries because they did help uplift me and crash through my worry and anxiety. So thank you so much for your love and support. All right, doctor news. I got lots of doctor news. I spoke to the doctor today. Got to get my notes. Sorry, guys. Got an old brain. So Bill had a question, which was, why do you think that it's scar tissue and not metastatic cancer anymore on the liver, right? Because I think I remember telling you guys that the doctor, when he was giving the report, said he felt that it was scar tissue. So I asked him, why do you think that? Because that was Bill's big question. And he spent some time with me, very detailed. He actually dumbed it down a little bit. I didn't want to tell him to go a little faster because I know this. I did the studying already. So he essentially, what he explained to me, which I'll share with you, was the SUV value, right? That's the value of how much uptake of the radioactive tracer goes into the organ. So what he explained was that the liver in general takes some percentage of uptake all the time, even in a healthy liver, because that's an organ that requires glucose, that processes the glucose and requires energy. So it always takes some. So what he explained was that the liver in its entirety, in the non-impacted area and in the area that previously was metastatic, had the same uptake values. And what he and the radiologist gleaned from that is that metastatic area the previously metastatic area is no longer malignant or metastatic because it doesn't require the extra energy that you would typically see for cancer. It's taking the same level as the rest of the liver, and that is why they believe that it's scar tissue. And then I asked my question, which was, what will I have to do in the future? What's the long-term ramifications of having scar tissue on your liver? To which he responded, I think I used the wrong words. I shouldn't have said scar tissue. I should have said inflammation. So, and then he went on to say, let's wait and see what it looks like after the next PET scan, and then we can have that conversation. So essentially, he didn't really answer my question, kind of, hedged a little bit, but he was essentially saying we don't have enough data yet. So let me keep going on my notes here. So that was the question, those two questions. Let's see. Let's wait for the next one. I asked about the Neulasta Onpro. He thought that insurance probably would not approve it, but he recommended that I ask the nurses on Friday, and they could check with billing at the office and see if they could clear it through insurance. I wouldn't get it until Tuesday, so that would give them a couple days to try and follow up. But he thought that it was a little more expensive. He said $30. I can't believe that's the case, but maybe it is more expensive and that insurance would probably reject it. He also said that he hadn't seen anyone that was on the long-term treatment like I am, on the continuous infusion, get the Onpro. I'm like, yeah, but I come into the office for the last day, so it's the same as somebody who just goes in for one day. But we'll see what they say. All right, so what else? As far as the SUV levels for the PET scan, what he did indicate was lymphoma, as far as cancers go, lymphoma typically has the highest SUV levels in the 20s, generally, or higher, when you have like full-blown lymphoma that's out of control. So I don't know if you guys remember, but my recollection of the PET scan was that I didn't have any numbers all my numbers were between 2 and 5.5. So I wasn't even close to that, and that's another thing that makes them think that the chemotherapy is working. Even though we don't know what my levels were to start because I don't have a PET scan, we could safely assume, based on how much of my abdomen was engaged, that it was quite high. We also talked a little bit about the CA-125, which is the ovarian cancer marker. And he said, well, it could have been a couple things. It could have been a false high, like it was a lab error. It could have been, which is what I think it is, that so much of my abdomen was engaged. He said you do see the CA-125 elevate for other abdominal cancers, sometimes like a colorectal or some others. And so he thought there was the possibility that the lymphoma had engaged enough of the belly that it upset the ovarian linings and such, and that's what caused the CA-125 to rocket. But I already shared with you a few weeks ago that the CA-125 we just ran was way down inside of normal, so that's all been resolved. Okay, what else can I tell you about here? Sorry, just checking the notes. He also consulted other doctors at my clinic, and they're a part of a bigger group now. So I think he even consulted who they consider to be their lymphoma specialist, and they all agreed that the PET scan were very encouraging and showed that I was very responsive to the chemotherapy. Let's see. All right, so I guess, do I have any other news here? I'm just looking. Hang on. SUV uptake, the same as the rest delivered, blah, 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 blah. So the other thing that he mentioned was that if I mentioned to him that I had a much hard, he was glowing. He said, "You're doing so well that all of my blood work and just when he talks to me like this, but he usually waits to talk to me until the week, like when I'm on day 19, day 20 or whatever. So I'm like, he's getting me at my very best, the farthest from the poisoning." In any case, he he was impressed slash happy with how well I'm tolerating everything. And so I did indicate to him that cycle 4 was much more difficult to get through, that I was not feeling well for, many of the days. And so he said, he still feels strongly that we do all 6 weeks. I'm sorry, all 6 cycles. But if I feel that I need an extra week between cycle 5 and cycle 6, like I just need a little more time to recover, that he would be okay with moving it 1 week. And, I always have an appointment with him beforehand, so I could talk to him at that time or let him know in advance. So the benefit there would be that I would not be super sick for Sam's 21st birthday and or not Christmas, Passover, Easter holiday time frame. Although I don't think we're gathering unless it's outdoors, because at least Bill and I are not vaccinated. So that might be a benefit, to spend some quality time with my family without being super sick. Because right now the way it's going to fall is I think Sam's birthday's on the Tuesday that I would get Cytoxin. So that would not be very fun for him, I don't think. So it might be a benefit there to delay a week. Now, the other thing we talked about was the PET scan, and I'm not sure we ever talked about it here. I think we did, but I'm not positive. He wants to do the PET scan 6 weeks after my last treatment. So right now my last treatment will end on April, I want to say 2nd or 5th. I got to look at the calendar. It's a Tuesday. And then it would be 6 weeks from there to try and get the PET scan scheduled, which puts me in mid to late May. If I delay the last treatment by a week, that pushes obviously the PET scan by a week. On the flip side, it might be worth it, right? What's 1 week to wait on the results? So the reason for that, I don't know if you remember, but when I read out the PET scan a few weeks ago, the PET scan shows the impact of the chemotherapy on your body, on your bone marrow, and and that stuff. And if we wait 6 weeks, then in addition to the PET scan telling us about how my body responded to the chemotherapy and if there's any more cancer and all that kind of stuff, it can also tell us if my body is recovering, if healing itself from all the poisoning. Is the bone marrow starting to regenerate the white cells and so forth and so on. So there's a fair amount of benefit to waiting those weeks post-treatment. So that's that. Let me see. I'm just checking for notes here. So to delay the cycle. I already shared with you my Cytoxin research about drink, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So that's on my to-do list. And let's see. I think that's all the news I have for you on the doctor side. So let's transition to my to-do list and my to-do list. Oops, wrong page. There we go. Ta-da. I worked. Cue picture of my laptop. I created a list of questions for the doctor, obviously. I had my doctor's appointment, again, obviously. I had a robotics call. I cut Bob's hair. It was mostly a buzz job. But let me look at this picture. You're not going to even believe this. This is the hair on the deck outside of all the hair that we took off of his head. It was ridiculously long. And I actually cut it kind of long. I used the clippers, but we had like a 3/4 inch with a clipper guard on there. So it's still fairly long, but good enough for now. I wanted to shape it and use different and shade and all that. He's like, I just cut it off. I have a headache. I don't want to deal with it. I'm like, okay. So I did what he asked me to do. And I also took a little off my top. Not really. I just buzzed, I think it's a number 1, and I just made sure everything was even. All right, what else? I cleaned a little bit, not too much, not so much as I wanted to do. I did straighten up we had the dialysis delivered today, so there was 46. Probably about 55 boxes came in for the dialysis delivery, maybe 62. I can't remember the exact number, but it was up there. So I straightened his path in, and then I also straightened where the boxes live in the front hall, so there was space for him to put them. So that was quite lovely. So we got that done. And I think that is it for my to-do list today. Yep. Okay, so my must-do list for tomorrow is Hoff's medicine distribution. The medicine was at CVS today, but the boys couldn't get over there. Bob had a headache, and Sam was very busy with schoolwork, so Bob said he's going to go over tomorrow. So we'll get the meds, and then I'll do the 14 days of medication for Bill. For now, I have enough pills to kind of limp by. The issue is when you put all the meds out in the 14-day distribution, when you're missing pills and you got to go open everything up again, it's a kind of a pain in the butt. So I'd rather just have everything I need and get it in there than to try and, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does to you guys. But in any case, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to work tomorrow. Tomorrow's my last day of work this week. I'm off on Friday because I start chemo. My new phone is coming tomorrow. Cha-cha-cha. And I think the list is up and you can't see me, but I was doing a happy dance behind that list, guys. And I'm going to... Oh, I forgot something on my to-do list. I crocheted a new sleeve. This is out of my new bamboo, the mauve that's really purple. This is my original vision, but I'm still working on implementation here. It's got a few little kinks in it, but we're almost there. But it's got some buttons, and it buttons right through the fabric. But I also have some elastic in here, so if I have significant swelling, I can use the elastic to connect to the buttons. And as my arm is smaller, then I can just connect the fabric, the buttons right inside the fabric. So that's a good plan. But I just finished it today, so I'm still working out the kinks. But I think this is the big thumbs up here. And then my last item for the to-do, must-do, is prepare crochet for Friday's chemo. Although I've decided that if I get super tired from the Benadryl, I'm just going to take a nap, because why not? What's the point of fighting the Benadryl? I might as well take advantage of it, right? All right, so that's my story. Sticking with it. And then my to-do, would love to do for tomorrow. I'm not counting on it because it's been this long and I just don't seem to have the time. Oh, tomorrow. Whoops, forgot something on my list. I also have a robocall. Actually, I think I have 2 robocalls. And then my would like to do for tomorrow is order my logo. And I'm not going to put anything else on my would like to do. Actually, I'm not going to put anything else on my would like to do for now. I don't think it's realistic. So we're just going to go there. It's a long day tomorrow. Bill's got lab work that I need to take him to tomorrow, so that's probably on my must-do. So I have a lot of stuff on my must-do. I don't think I'm going to get to the would like to do. So my must-do is lab work. Off. Okay. So that's it for my ta-da and my to-do list. Ta-da! To-do. So if you're just here for story time, thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow. And we're going to get into daily symptoms and statistics. All good news here. Are you ready? Lightning round. Nausea, no. Mouth pain, no. Teeth pain, no. Throat pain, no. Weight still up. X6.2. I think it only came down like 0.05. Not impressive at all. Bill bought some oatmeal raisin cookies from the grocery store, and I have been eating too many. But I'm not sure that's the issue, but it certainly could be. Fluid in 104 ounces, which is 3.08 liters. Fluid out 3.7 liters. Dun, dun, dun. So that was a recovery of some of the fluid that I had stuck on me, but my weight didn't change, so I'm not really clear on what's happening there. Sleep, 5 hours, 46 minutes. Not great, but I'm not feeling fatigued or tired, so not sure. Maybe that was enough. Movement, 7,400 steps, plus my restorative poses. Vitals were fine, no problems. Neuropathy, still improving. Almost gone, just in time for more. Hair loss, status quo. Skin, status quo. Nose clots, no. Night sweats, no. Headache? No. Fatigue? No. Red skin? No. Chemo brain? No. There you have it. All my numbers were fabulous. Lots of no's. Good day. Physically. A good day in the noodle, I think. I feel much more energized. I feel like we have a plan, and I'm rolling with it for now. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That's the plan. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and thank you for your love and support. I really appreciate it. It does help me on the rough days. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much. Love you. Remember, every day is a gift. Live it. See you tomorrow.